Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate y'all coming to the Simple Cooking with Heart kitchen in my home. I am Chef Stephanie Rose, and I am here with you this evening for the duration of this easy peasy, heart healthy recipe that we are kicking off Nutrition Month with. Okay. And this is a new one on me. I mean, we've all heard of shrimp and grits. This is herby chicken and grits. Awesome. With some sauteed vegetables to finish with. And I am hungry, so I really would love to get started. So for those of you that are here tonight, let's get your hands washed. I've only washed mine about 50 times today, and I already washed mine. So go wash yours. You're going to have to wash them a couple of times because, we're dealing with chicken. And whenever we're dealing with chicken, there are safety measures we have to abide by so we don't have any cross-contamination. So actually, before we get to the chicken, get your pot out and get your grits. Dump those in your pot. I have cheated because I didn't get the instant grits. I got actually my favorite ones, which are grits, but they're called polenta corn grits, and they're yellow, and they're just a little bit flakier. They have a little bit more, substance, and they don't turn into goo. Well, I mean, if you cook them long enough, I guess they would turn into goo. But this is them right here. They're a real pretty yellow color. So I love those, and they're exactly the same nutritional everything as the instant ones. It's just, the instant grits are just a little bit processed a little bit more. So if this is what you have, go ahead and dump your half a cup in 2 1/4 cups of water. If you go a little bit over, that's okay. You can always add a little bit more. And I believe we are putting in some garlic powder into the grits. So I have not put my garlic powder in, so it's right here. I'm going to go ahead. Like I said, I cheated and I started my grits, so they're already kind of going. And like I said, I could just add some more water, and these babies are going to be delicious. I don't know about y'all, but I was raised on grits, and I absolutely love them. I went to school up north, Connecticut, and I used to just laugh at everybody because they did not know what the heck they were. We'd have cream of wheat for breakfast, and then they'd have grits for breakfast, and then they were putting their brown sugar and sugar on the grits. I'm like, no, you don't put sugar on a grits. I like my egg on the grits. That's breakfast. So I'm definitely a grits girl, and I love them. And when they're cooked, we're gonna get to put some cheese in them. So oh my gosh, what's more delicious than cheesy grits? Okay, so get those going, and you keep an eye on them, okay, because it's going to be boiling. You bring it up to a boil, and then put it on low because they will have to cook about 7 minutes. So get those going, okay? And then we're going to get our chicken ready. Now, I'm not using this cutting board for my chicken. I'm going to go ahead and use a separate board that's because I don't want to get everything contaminated, okay? And I don't know about y'all, but I always like to point out what's going on with the chicken in our country. They're huge. These chicken breasts, you have to be really careful because I can guarantee that this chicken breast that I have here is not 4 ounces. Okay, this is one breast, and it actually weighs over a pound. And really, that is all that the recipe calls for, is a pound of chicken. So, I mean, if you can find the nice, beautiful little breasts that are 4 ounces each, you know, bingo presto. I mean, I think you can get them, but I don't know where. I know commercial restaurants can order them in bulk and, you know, prepackaged little 4-ounce breasts that are really cute, but I haven't seen any lately. The closest I could find were these three, and they are just these three are almost 2 pounds. So again, our breasts are a little large. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one, even though it's about 3 ounces over the 1 pound. I think by the time I'm finished, you know, cutting off some of the fat, which we need to do because we don't want the fat, and there's definitely some fat on these breasts. So again, get yourself a separate cutting board, nice sharp knife, and let's cut off the fat. Oh, cut the fat. Okay, so I usually just, you know, it's pretty obvious where it is. It's these big chunks of white oogie stuff. Cut that off, turn it over. Sometimes that helps. And then just sort of cut around the perimeter here. Actually, I may not get 3 ounces of fat off of this guy, but that's all right. Just cut it off. If you see some like kind of bloodline or something, I usually cut that off as well. On the back, you can see over here, cut that off. Sometimes I'll save this. If I get too much, if I cut off too much of the chicken, I will save it and cook it up for my pooch, who hopefully behaves tonight. All right, just cut around. If you see any, like I said, a little red, looks like kind of a little blood bits, a little bit on this edge here. Just cut that off. Not quite sure how I'm going to cut this one up to saute it, but because I do want it to look pretty. Got more fat here on this end. Just get that off. I like to play with my food. I might just cut it. I need 4 pieces, right? We're serving 4. So I'm going to go ahead and see how this works. If you have 4 chicken breasts, lucky you. Put it in my pan over here. So that's, some may be a little bit thicker. Ideally, you do want them, you know, even thickness. That way they cook evenly, right? Makes sense. So I'm putting them in this dish over here. And then I'm going to put my herbs on them. Okay, I got some funky looking pieces, but that's all right. When all the herbs are on and they're cooked. So maybe that's 3 ounces. Okay, so that's a pound, and that was 1 breast. Follow. Let's get rid of this. Presto changeo. Don't touch anything with the hand that you had on the chicken. Okay, so I've got to wash my hands really well now. I'm going to get rid of this. Some warm water, 100 degrees is fine. Sing happy birthday. Fortunately, everything we are chopping up today is going to be cooked. So that means there's less of a chance for cross-contamination. All right, what do we have? Our spices that are going on the chicken. Now, it called for thyme and it called for dried oregano, but if you wanted to get fancy and use a little bit of fresh thyme, I'm a big fan of fresh thyme. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of both. Just actually, I think it wants you to you know, break up the thyme leaves a little bit. You know, if you don't have the thyme leaves, you could use ground thyme. I don't usually have that, but I do love this. I love thyme. It's definitely one of my favorite go-to herbs. I do put it in a lot of things. We want to get those little leaves. Okay, these guys are little, I can't see. Get the little leaves off the stem because the stem is woody. You don't want to eat that if you're using the fresh stuff. And believe it or not, the stems are actually full of flavor too. So if you wanted to save them, put them in a stock. You know how I love my stocks. Love, love, love. So get those little seeds, little leaves off. And we're going to use half a teaspoon of the thyme. Of course, if you're using fresh thyme, it can be a little bit more pungent than the dried thyme. And you know, if your dried thyme in your cabinet is over 6 or 8 months, then it's probably lost a little bit of its flavor. Okay, now I'm going to start cutting things. So I want to make sure that you are holding your knife properly and safely. So we're going to, we call it the pinching the blade. For those of you that have been with me before, you know the spiel. Put your thumb on the end of the blade towards the handle, and then put your pointer finger on the other side. So you're straddling it, and then wrap your hands around the handle. Okay, so that's going to give you maximum control. And I'm just going to start chopping this. I like to put my other hand on the tip because I like to keep the tip down. And then I'm just going to go over a little bit. There we go. So that's going to go. I'm going to put it in a little bowl just to mix it all in. Here we are. Put the thyme in there. Now it also calls for a teaspoon of oregano. I always have dried oregano. Love oregano. So I'm going to put a little bit of the dried oregano, maybe half, because I also couldn't find fresh oregano, but I did find some beautiful marjoram. Hey, if it's something fresh and beautiful out there, what the hey? Now, I haven't had anything with, how do you say it? Marjoram in a very long time. So I wanted to try it. It's not something I think I even have in my pantry. Shame on me. I'll have to grow some. Close enough, right? To oregano. Looks like oregano. It's probably in the oregano family. I wouldn't be surprised. So again, I've got some of this fresh marjoram. Let's chop that up. There we go. Mix that in with the rest of my herbage. And I think we also are going to put some onion powder. That I always have. Who doesn't have onion powder? So let's dump our onion powder. And with our mixture, looks like I have a little bit of garlic powder. What the heck? I'm going to put that in as well. All right. Oh, and I think we get a little bit of salt. Probably 1/8 of a teaspoon, because that's pretty much our go-to. I'm going to mix that up a little bit. Get my chicken, which is right here. And I'm going to sprinkle my little herby mixture. I mean, can you really have too much on my chicken breasts? There we go. Turn them over. Hopefully you can see. I have that overhead cam, and if you want to get a close-up of the overhead, you can always on your computer pin it, and then I think you'll be able to see it a little bit more up close and personal. So there we go. I bet this would actually be good if you put the herbage on earlier. Heck, maybe even in the morning, before you go to work, and let it kind of marinate. But some of those, it already smells really good, y'all. I love it. I mean, this is a lot of chicken. Holy cow. I hope my family will be happy and enjoy this dinner. All right, getting it nicely coated. Use it all up. Okay, there we go. Bye-bye. So it looks well coated, pretty much so. Don't forget, stir your grits. Stir your grits again. Mine are going to be a little lumpy tonight because I started them too early. I just wanted to make sure that they were cooked because they're not instant. Oh, heck, you know, you can do the grits in the microwave too, you know, so even faster, but I highly recommend that you cover it when you do that because otherwise you're going to have a grits explosion and that's a disaster. So let's get these cooking while get the chicken cooking, then I can cut up the rest of the ingredients that I'm going to put in there. So I've got a large pan. Helps if I put the correct burner on. It's hard to, I can't see it. There we go. Turn that other back one off. Thank you. Goodbye. I think we're just using a canola oil is nice. What else? I do love olive oil. So, you know, if you really are, you know, prefer olive oil, I would not stop you from using that because it is one of the healthiest ones out there. So actually, you know, or even a little bit of, they've got canola, they say corn oil, even grape seed is good. I can't remember what I put in my little can. I feel like the Tin Man. This is cute. I love it. All right, maybe I'm getting carried away. How much oil do we get? I know it says a teaspoon. Okay. There you go. See, I measured that very exactly, a teaspoon. Let that get warm. Okay, I mean, I actually could start cutting up some of my other ingredients. I think it just calls for 1 summer squash. And I know it's not in season, but we can get them. You know what? And I was going to do it with zucchini just because I'm a huge fan of zucchini. I prefer zucchini. Maybe I will do half and half. What do you think? Just because I like the color. So actually, I think these need to be rinsed up. I don't think I washed them. So make sure your vegetables are washed, y'all. Give that a little rinsey poo while my oil's getting warm. There we go. Now, I don't know if you all saw in the chat, it's hard for me to monitor it by myself, but if you do have an urgent question that I might be able to answer, don't get too obscure. I'll be like, well, I don't know the answer to that. Go ahead and unmute yourself, but not everybody all at the same time. So I'm going to cut this up. We're only using half, right? Maybe I'm going to cut it lengthwise, okay? Cut this one lengthwise. I can hear the flames. Like looks like my oil's getting good. How do I know it's hot? Starts rippling. You know, don't let it get so far where it's smoking, all right? But maybe I'll just kind of cut these on the bias a little bit because I think that's pretty. And I don't want to cut them too thick because I want to make sure that they cook quickly, right? Everybody's in a hurry. Everybody wants to eat, you know, quickly. You know, people are hungry. You come home, you worked all day, right? You want to eat. So this is one of those recipes, y'all. Down and dirty. Let's eat. Everybody's hungry. Isn't that pretty? A little bit of green, a little bit of yellow. I cut off that other end too. All right, this one's a little bit big. I'll just keep going. Cut it thinner. And my oil is definitely ready. And take that little end piece off. So I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken in. I can see it's totally rippling. Listen for it. And I'm going to go ahead and put my fattest piece in first. All right. Yeah. Fattest in first. That's a new rule. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Perfect. I like the sound of that. Keep my tongs. Okay, now I need to cut up some tomatoes. We have some wonderful cherry tomatoes. I love them. And I particularly love the tomatoes, the heirloom ones that are different colors. Look at how beautiful that is. You know, again, we've got the yellow and the red and the darker ones. And so we get to cut these in half and cut up a half a cup, which actually I have some cut up. I started cutting them up already right here. I don't think that's quite a half a cup yet. So go ahead and with a sharp knife, doesn't matter really what, if you cut them on the equator, this one's kind of a funky pear shape. Cut them whatever direction you want. Look how pretty those are. So I've got yellow ones. I have the zebra ones. And I finally have a sharp knife today. Oh, well, maybe not. I spoke too soon. Okay, that's definitely a half a cup. So let's add all of my veggies together. Let me shake this pan. Oh, yeah. Cooking with gas here. And then I think all I need to do is cut up the green onions. I already have my cheese grated. So that's good. Got those 2 green onions, 3 green onions. Green onions are so wonderful. And they are super, super full of all kinds of nutrients. Didn't know that. Actually, more than any other onion out there. How does actually, I'm going to turn my grits back on. Add a little bit more water. Get those warm. Let's take a peek at our chicken. All right, where's the fat one I put in first? I think this is it. Oh, look at that. That's pretty. That's got some nice color. Oh, yeah. Ooh la la. That's what I'm talking about. That's loud. So on your green onions, cut off a little Rudy. Cut off Rudy. Cut off the little Groot part. Get rid of that. We had a stock going. We could throw some of this in the stock. Now I usually cut that kind of the harder white part up first. And there's really no special way to cut it. Cut it however you want. Just make sure your other hand, your left hand, make sure you've got your fingertips curled under. Okay, slice away. Sometimes I cut the green onion into chunks. I like to pick up a chunk of green onion. I adore green onions. Remember, you could eat the whole mess. And then you could always save a little bit for garnish at the end. Like this piece. Oh my goodness, isn't he beautiful? My favorite. Okay, chicken's cooking. Oh yeah, oh, look at that one. That one's even more beautiful. Check it out. Cooking really nicely. Remember, you definitely want to make sure you cook it all the way through. You have a thermometer. If you don't have one, I recommend you get one. They're not expensive. You could even buy them at the grocery store. Get yourself an instant read one. Stick it in the thickest part of the chicken and make sure it reads 165. Oftentimes, it may, when you're taking it off and putting it in your dish, it may, at the beginning, it might read like 160. That's probably okay because it continues to cook. You know, the heat's all inside and it will continue to cook. Certainly another 5 degrees. I'm really pleased with how pretty this chicken looks. Oh, baby. I even like the different shapes. Definitely something missing in this recipe. I don't know. Did you see any black pepper? Gotta have some. Got to. Hey, if you want to spice it up too, you can put in a little cayenne. Love that too. All right, well, I can't put anything back in here because this is contaminated. So I'm gonna get rid of that. When your chicken is cooked, you can, take it off, take it out, take it out. How can I tell? Maybe I will see if what the temperature is, just to give you an idea. Here's my instant read. Even trained my husband how to use it. Love it. That's why he doesn't ever overcook my steaks. It's pretty funny. He would undercook sausages too in the morning for himself. I'm like, it's raw. So now he actually even puts it in a sausage. Cracks me up. So this guy looks pretty fat. I'm gonna just take that off heat for a minute. And let's see what this guy looks like. First, you got to turn it on. Turn it on. Okay. Then you want to make sure it's on Fahrenheit. Yeah, that he had it on Celsius once. That was a whole nother story. Okay, and I'm going to stick it in past the dimple. This is the thickest part. Sticking it in. Let's see what it says. This piece is not ready. Okay, this was a thick chunk. I put it in at the end. It's only at 139. He's going back in. So, that means I should check another piece. Okay, here's another piece here. Again, this is the thickest part right there. Let me jab this in. You could do 2 reads too, coming in 2 different angles. 166. You're done. I'm very pleased with the color. Bet you this guy's done too. Stick it in. 64, 65. Marvelous. So from experience, I can usually tell when it's cooked or not. And make sure you got it in. Are you not cooked? Nope, he needs a little more too. So these little guys need a little bit more. Fine. Great. And I've got room in my pan. I'm sure that one's cooked. So I'm going to go ahead, add a little bit more oil. And I'm going to dump in my veggies. Let's go. Dump them in. All right, give me a spoon here. Come on. I'll do it like wok cooking, where you put the chicken or your meat on the side. Stir your vegetables around. And do I get to add anything else to my veggies? I got everything. I've got the squash, the grape, tomatoes, and the green onions. Yippee! It says to add a little water, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Little water, a little steaming action is going to help cook them. It's nice if you can get a little bit of color. That's why I put them in the hot pan, Oh yeah, we're cooking with gas here. Now I love fresh herbs. Maybe I throw on some parsley. You know how I am about parsley? Always have parsley. Yeah, what the heck? Throw a little bit of parsley in here. We need some drainage. more greenage. I want to play with it too much. What I say, black pepper, come to mama. Okay. Let those cook a little bit. Now, what are your grits doing? I hope they're good. You know, some people like them a little runnier than others. That is, have to taste them, make sure they're good. That is a preference thing. Some people like them real firm. So I've got my whisk out. I'm going to whisk away. They're good. Mm-hmm. You know, the other reason I like to use the polenta style grits is they're a pretty color. I like the orange. So these have simmered down a little bit, y'all. I think that they're almost cooked. Sure, my chicken is too. Just gave them a little bit more. Now you want to make sure all of those delicious bits, those little yummy bits of flavor that are at the bottom of the pan, you want to get them all out, right? I got my chicken in here. Num, num, num. Beautiful. Oh, wow, really looks beautiful. Maybe a little bit more water. Water. Fabulous. Fabuloso. It's smelling really good in here. Maybe that's that chicken I'm getting a whiff of. Maybe it's that majoram. Okay. I'd say these babies are done for sure. Let me get a little dish to put them in. Turn off the heat. Here. Making a mess everywhere. These guys out of here. I know this pan weighs a ton. Ton. Don't want to burn my hand. Ooh, don't they look pretty in here? Look at that. This was one. I have to taste this. Oh, that's really yummy. Grits. I need them to be warm because I haven't put the cheese in them yet, right? I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of cheese in now. We get a 1/4 cup. Put your cheese in. Move this guy back here. Go away. There's that there. Turn these guys on so you can see on low. On the grits. Grits. I think the grits probably need some got the cheese in there. I think this is a nice consistency. It's not going to be running all over the place. Cheese is starting to melt. And I thought I had a rubber spatula. Let me go get that. Sometimes you cannot waste all the goodness that is in this pan. That is some flavor, and I want it. Almost have a beautiful little groovy here, which I'm gonna pour over everything. Well, this might even be good in the grits. Now it's going. Let's taste them. You don't want them to stick at the bottom. Look how beautiful those are. Oh, baby. Love it. This is a very colorful dish. And guess what? We're on the home stretch. That's what I'm talking about. My mom used to be so good at making these recipes at home. She was so quick and everything was so delicious. Just get my plate. Haven't decided which one I wanted in. This yellow one was really pretty. I probably should have used that one. So here we go. Oh, stir the grits, stir the grits. They are done. Love it. Okay. It's time for dinner. We get a quarter cup of the grits. Marvelous. So you could plate this however you want it. Well, if it's not too hot. So go ahead and put the grits down in the dish. You go away. I'm making a big mess in here. Quarter cup. That is a nice, generous portion, I think. Does that look like a quarter cup? Yeah. Look, there's still quite a bit. So plenty to feed the family. Now we have a beautiful piece of chicken. Beautiful chicken. Oh, which one? They're also so lovely. We have one here. We have that nice little fat bad boy there. Look at that. And then I get a quarter cup of the vegetables. Wow. Gorgeous. So you could just spread them around. Lots of juice happening here. A couple of tomatoes. Oh, wow. I'm loving it. Loving it. Absolutely divine. Get a little more. Some of my garnish. Remember I saved some of my green onions? Yeah. That is stunning. And I've got my other little green onion. Stab it in there. And maybe just a little bit of that marjoram also in here. Oh yeah. More elixir, huh? Ooh. And I did save a little bit of cheese. But you know what? It's so pretty. It doesn't need it. Only thing else it needs is some more black pepper, Mom. And there you have it. Can you believe it? I mean, how delicious, how easy this is to make and healthy. What a great way to start off Nutrition Month. And I'm just so delighted that you were here with me to do it. So this is Stephanie Rose, Executive Chef of the Simple Cooking with Heart Kitchen, signing out. Whoa, not yet. I'm going to look over here. If y'all had any questions, we still have a little bit more time. I'm happy to answer them. So let me move these. Get a nice close-up of that. And let me see if y'all had any questions. Let me see in my chat room here. Chat. Where's chat? Okay, chat. Well, heck, if you have a question, you can unmute. But I don't see any questions out there. Let me just pin that overhead just because it's so pretty. I think I like that. There we go. And I hope y'all have, I know you're going to have a good dinner tonight, right? Next week, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember. Are we doing the jollof rice? Oh my, well, I hope so. And I really hope that you're going to be here with me. Those of you that joined me, let's have a heart healthy month, celebrate Nutrition Month. And I really hope to see you again in the Heart Kitchen. And we are working very diligently at reopening the kitchen in Baltimore to have in-person classes. But don't worry, we're still going to do the classes every Thursday virtual. So Very, very, very enjoyable evening. And now I need to eat. And so do you. So thank you for joining me. Y'all have a great evening. Bye.